If your son or daughter is living at school or in off-campus housing, they may not know how to prevent a fire or what to do if it happens. Joining us to tell us how to keep our teens safe is Michael Swain, a campus safety officer at UMass Amherst. Michael, it's great to have you here. This is obviously a very important topic. Kids are back at school. You're going to tell us what parents need to look for when they move their children to school, or their teens, I should say.
Yeah, September is actually College Fire Safety Month. Annually, there's an average of about 3,800 fires across the country in student housing, fraternities, sororities, residence halls, and barracks. So what parents want to do is they want to make sure their child's safe when they go off to school. So there's some key things that they can look for that are very simple. Most of the universities are going to provide them, but you want to make sure that they're there and that they're working properly.
Absolutely.
The first thing and the most important thing is a smoke detector. And you want to check and make sure the smoke detector works. You also want to know, is the smoke detector tied into the building fire alarm system, or does it operate just in the area where the smoke detector is? Or a single station smoke detector, they're called.
How can they find that out?
By talking to the university or college. Ask those questions when they do the tours. Before they become students, they do new student tours. They can ask those questions then.
Okay.
Talk to the people then, or ask the day they move their students in. The other thing they should look for is a carbon monoxide detector. Those should also be in the room. If they are there, do they operate properly? Are they hardwired or constant electricity? And do they have battery backup? And same with the smoke detectors.
Okay, so like this one here does have battery backup. It's a plug-in, and then it has the battery, so that if anything should happen,
and
it's
then
always
this one has
working.
the battery is right here.
Wonderful.
And then it would go up on the ceiling or the wall.
Now, Michael, you suggest that parents ask the university about the standards that are in the housing, but what about off-campus housing? What should parents look for?
The same thing, same basic things, that if the student is living off campus, and that's unfortunately historically where the bigger fires and the tragic fires are occurring. Same thing, they want to make sure they have working smoke detectors. They want to make sure they have working carbon monoxide detectors.
But the difference is sprinkler systems, is that correct?
Ideally, in the perfect world, the best combination is the detectors and sprinkler systems. The detectors will give you an early warning that there's a problem and that you need to get out of the room or building you're in, and the sprinklers will control the fire until the fire department gets there.
Okay.
Or in some cases, it will extinguish the fire completely. The other big cause of fires off campus and on campus is cooking, and one of the devices we brought today is actually a smoke detector that's mounted on the side of a microwave, so that when the microwave, if it starts to burn inside, the smoke starts coming out of the vent, it activates the smoke detector and shuts the power off to the microwave. And then if the students are cooking, never leave it unattended. And everybody should do that, is never cook and leave it unattended while you run in the other room or you go to do something else. We're all very busy, but you should stand by your pan as the...
That's what you, yes, that's a thing to remember, whether you're grilling or cooking in the microwave or cooking at the stove, to always stand by your pan. This is something people can have in their home too, and maybe some people don't know that you're not supposed to put metal in the microwave or tin foil, so that can cause a fire. So it's good to have that. That'll automatically shut off your microwave and prevent it. That's a really great tool to have. And now moving on, I see these little, or what I should say, what used to be candles.
What used to be
Tell us about this.
This is actually what the candle looked like originally. The student had lit it and put it in front of his room door, opened the room door. When he did that, he pushed the candle into the wooden wardrobe, and this is all that was left of the fire. Fortunately, smoke detectors activated, let everybody in the building know you got to get out, and then the fire was almost completely extinguished by the sprinkler. So when the fire department got there, there was a little bit of cleanup and mop up, but the fire had been pretty much extinguished completely.
So we may take these things for granted if they are in our home and they're working, but they really do save lives.
Exactly.
How often should you be replacing a smoke
There's
alarm?
actually a national campaign for the batteries. When you change your clock twice a year, change the battery in your detectors. You should also test them once a month. Just push the test button on them and they'll beep or whatever noise they make. Some are voice activated, but then you test them once a month.
So put that on your calendar. Now, Michael, we have a video of an actual demonstration of a dorm room fire that was actually staged. Tell us about what we're seeing.
What you're seeing is we actually built two rooms. The one on the left doesn't have sprinklers, it has smoke detectors, and what we do is we time from the time the fire starts until the smoke detector activates. And we say, okay, it's only been 35 seconds, you've already gotten notice that there's something wrong. The room on the right has got a sprinkler system in it.
Wow.
So that's why the fire is so much smaller, even though a lot of times what students like to do is hang tapestries over their ceiling. On the sprinkler room, it was blocking the sprinkler so it couldn't operate properly. But it still contained, you can see the obvious difference of how it contained the fire and gave people more time to get out safely.
So these things that we don't even notice on a daily basis, what a difference they can make.
Exactly.
If there
Yep, they're a great lifesaver.
should be a fire, absolutely. And then really quickly, just touch on what, I mean, this was obviously something that was in a fire, but tell us what this was.
That was actually one of the smoke detectors that we installed in one of the mock rooms. And again, we timed, it was I think 35 seconds till it actually started to sound. But what was more impressive was it sounded right up until the time it fell off the ceiling.
Wow.
So, you know, it's going to be there for you. And again, they're there. You don't realize they're there, but you should take time to make sure that they're working properly.
This is such important information, not just for parents who are sending their kids to school, but for anyone.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. And of course, you can visit our website, mymassappeal.com, later today to hear all of Michael's advice again.